Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got some special guests in the building.
Yes, indeed.
Full force.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My brothers.
Good morning.
Introduce yourselves for the people who don't know, man.
Okay, I'm Paul Anthony.
I'm Bow-Legged Lou.
And I'm B-Fine.
And I just want to say that we're the three Full Force brothers, but Full Force is actually 6 members. We have Baby Jerry, Shy Shy, and Kurt TT.
Right. And y'all are brothers and cousins.
Brothers and cousins.
Salute
yes.
to them, but we only acknowledge the ones that were in house party. Okay, so that's the full force. I know. Okay.
Now let's start from the beginning for people who don't know who Full Force is. Who is Full Force? Where are you guys from, and how did you create this group?
Oh man,
That's a big ass question.
I'm a size of it, Lieutenant. We're based from Brooklyn, Brooklyn all day, and
Brooklyn.
you know, Full Force started. I guess we was 10, 11, 12 years old, and our parents would wake us up routinely, you know, because in our family singing was not an option. You'd wake us up, be on the train all the way up to Harlem, get out of 125th Street. My father dropped the hat. We sing for hours, make enough money to either eat dinner that night or go to the Apollo. And that's how we started, you know. And we just kept on grinding from the age of 11, 12,
Well, basically,
and
the 3 of us was our father and our Uncle Cito. They got the 3 of us as a group first and foremost.
Right.
And then that's when we connected
later on
with our 3 cousins to form Full Force, the ones that weren't in house party.
So was this a natural talent that you guys had, or was it something that you really had to?
Well, a combination of both. You know, I think it started with me. One time my father was listening to me sing in the shower. I think I was like 9, and he heard a natural vibrato in my voice.
He was singing in the tub. We didn't have a shower.
Right. And he heard a natural vibrato. I was singing a Smokey Robinson song, and I was doing the false and the vibrato, and he said, hey, Anthony got a voice, you know. And then I would be singing on the street by myself, and then he eventually trained my brothers to join with me.
Yeah, hell, it shouldn't just be you by yourself. And then my brother B, my brother B Fine actually was forced into it because he didn't really want to do it. And
you gotta remember, I was 6 years old.
Right.
I was 6 years old. I was the baby, you know, and I didn't want to do that. I
wanted to play.
I wanted to be a baseball player.
He had no
I hated
choice.
practicing.
Had no
Father used to whip my ass. The world was always
Like, you gonna be
sideways
a
to me.
singer.
I was always practicing like this and shit. And he would slap my head back
Right.
up to sing.
Right.
I hate it. But I'm glad he did this thing.
So y'all were athletes when y'all were younger. That explained the builds.
Well,
Right.
you know, it's funny. We was always athletic. Yeah, you know, our first thing was baseball. You know, and we was in the junior league. B was in the minor league, the smaller league. But he was so good that he brought up to our level, and that was one of the joys. My mom and dad first they came to a baseball game and they see me in center field, Lou in right field, Lil B in left field. Yeah.
What did your parents do for a living that you guys came out like this? I'm just curious.
Oh man. At the time, my dad worked in a factory. You know, he worked in a factory, and my mom, she worked as a social worker. You know,
Okay.
later on.
But I think the key of what you're getting to is my father was a doo-wop singer.
Right.
Right.
That's how,
That's it.
you know, he was heavily into doo-wop. He's lived his dream through us.
Was he a doo-wop weightlifter singer, man? Y'all was in the gym early.
Yeah, man. That was our thing. You know, I feel wonderful that we are pretty much credited with being one of the first to bring in physical fitness and bodybuilding and training. For me, it was a way of life. You know, I started that. You know, so yeah.
Yeah, because even in house party, I'm like, do they go to the school? Are they just some older kids that's just raising hell outside of the school?
Duper seniors.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got left back. There was a meme floating around that says House Party tried to convince us that these 3 guys were 17-year-old high
That's
school.
a fact.
That was
Last week, and I seen it, and I was like, they're right. Like, I really am. Like looking back at it, like
I mean, they in high school and they don't play no football?
Right.
Come on now.
Right.
We got left back 10 times.
10
okay?
times.
So now let's talk about how the career started to really blossom and some of the people you work with early on.
I think. Tell them.
Yeah, go ahead, Lou.
Well, you're gonna do UTFO, but before UTFO, before we were even known as Full Force, we were working with Curtis Blow. Props to Curtis Blow, who we love. And one of the songs that we co-wrote with Curtis and performed on was Basketball.
Yeah.
And this is before we were
That was our
known.
first one.
So after that was UTFO, which my friend up in heaven from college, Steve Salem, he's the one that encouraged us to produce and write for other people. I didn't really want to do that. I just was like, just full force. I didn't give a shit about anybody else. But thank God I was wrong. He said, you should write and produce for other people, and then if that happens, you guys will get a record deal of your own.
Yeah.
And that's exactly
and
what
that's
happened.
how we was one of the first to really get in hip hop. But if we need to really start from the beginning, I used to party at all the clubs all the time.
Oh, here we go.
It was like Tuesday Justine's, Wednesday Collie Brown, Thursday Tribeca, Friday Leviticus, Bonds International, and
In there with no shirt on. Just a white beat.
something like that. And I went up to Harlem. This is before rap even came out. I went up to Harlem, and I was at Small's Paradise with Eddie Chiba. And I was like, yo, what is this? This thing is, what's this called? This is rapping. I said, yo, this is dope. Wow. So I came back to Brooklyn, and I said to Lou and B and my cousins, hey, y'all, I had a dream last night, man. I came with the idea, I'm going to make up something. It's called rapping. They was like, really? Yeah. And y'all gonna be my crew.
And we was his damn crew.
He act like he made up
It's
rap.
like he made up
Yeah,
rap.
rapping.
I'm gonna come rapping. Yeah. And they said, yeah, dip, dip, dab, so socialized. They finish it up. And then I think
And
I
we heard it. We heard it at a club in Harlem. Harlem World. And we heard it. I said, motherfucker, you didn't make up this shit.
And he's even saying the dip, dip, die, socialized thing too. You know?
So break
So
down.
that's how we started.
Talking about UTFO, Paul.
Yeah, I was
B,
gonna
'cause
ask
that
about
was our first
UTFO.
major
Yeah,
that
but
was
what
our
happened is
first,
that Steve Salem, who's our
May rest in
partner and
peace.
manager, he said that because we couldn't get a deal. He said, you guys should get into production. And Lou hated that deal. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So the deal is, long story short, is I found this kid who danced and pop named Kango, you know, and then he was trying to rap to my girlfriend. I really went up to school to kick his ass.
Right.
We
Wingate High.
That's
Kick
really
your
happened.
fucking in.
That's
Kick his fucking
But he was dancing so good and everything, you
Kango
know.
kid.
He brought in his partner Doc, and then there's EMD and Mixmaster Ice, and you know I had this idea to do a song named Roxanne, and like people were asking why Roxanne. I said, for real, it's because the name is kind of uncommon to me.
Right.
You know, I know tons of Sharons, but I know a lot of Roxannes, and plus the police did it, and that was my only reason.
Wow.
That's crazy
That was it.
because y'all started
Wow.
all kind of Roxanne beefs and
Yeah,
Sure, it
we
started.
had no
It opened
idea,
up
and
for a
that's
lot
a
of female
crazy
rappers,
feeling
yeah.
to have success when you don't know successful. I'm walking downtown Brooklyn, and I see somebody at the time with the boombox, and it's blasting, and girls are running behind them
Right.
just to hear it, and I'm like, oh shit, that's what I just did, that beat. I did it with Kango and Doc in the studio, and man, there was no automation. There was like 10 hands on the board with Jerry and Kurt and everybody. Oh, you got the part. You got to mute it when the bass come in there. When the mix are scratching, and that's
Three
what
beats,
became history.
three
man.
beats on one record, and after that, of course, Roxanne's Revenge.
Roxanne's
then
Doctor.
then Roxanne's Doctor. Then we jumped on our own bandwagon. We created the real Roxanne.
Right.
And then
And I
And
feel
then Shantae, Roxanne
yeah,
Shantae.
Sparky D.
Roxanne Shantae was the
we
very
take
first
pride
one.
in
Yeah.
opening
It
doors.
It was Roxanne
Roxanne's
Shantae, and then
Revenge.
they said there was a real
Sparky
Roxanne.
D. Yeah.
I'm confused about that. So how many Roxannes were there?
Over 30. There's Roxanne's godmother. There was Roxanne.
Oh, that's the
What?
records, but she's
Dog.
talking about
Like-
talking about Roxanne.
'Cause
Oh, well, there was
Oh.
we had the real Roxanne, okay? And it's so funny because I was working at a social worker. I was a social worker, and there was this young lady. She was Puerto Rican, but she had a lot of attitude. And I just looked at her and I said, you know what? You look like my real Roxanne. She looked at me. Who are you talking to? I said, oh yeah, this is it. This is the one right here.
And her name is Joanne Martinez.
there was two of them.
Before Joanne Martinez, there was Elise Jack, who was the one on the record.
Okay.
The real Roxanne. And then we worked with Joanne, who was the one in the video, you know, with UTFO.
So we feel good that we opened up the doors for a lot of female rappers. You know, we helped usher that in. You know,
Right.
Sparky D don't get a lot of credit.
I know.
Yeah, she don't
I
get the credit
know,
she
man.
deserves.
Sparky D is
Wonderful,
dope. I
wonderful
love
queen.
Sparky D, and she definitely was part of the whole Roxanne scenario because she came out with Sparky's Back.
Yep.
I think after Roxanne's
There's
Revenge.
so many of them.
She from the Bronx, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And there was
God bless
friction
Sparky
back
D.
then, but now Shantae, that's her
Yeah,
sister.
yeah.
It was good.